Hey everybody, welcome back to Emirae Reacts, and we are finally seeing a review to the Mandalorian series done by yours truly, Emirae. So from the beginning of this episode, we hear the voices of the Armorer, Din Djarin, Cara Dune, Grief Karga, Moff Gideon, even Quill. Oh, poor Quill, I already miss him. So at the beginning of this father-kid journey, you can see while Mando and the Yodeling are walking that he is enjoying the view with red-eyed like monster creatures lurking in the darkness. Somebody tell me about those in the comment section. I really want to know where those critters are. And these creatures are staring at them from the darkness, which kind of gives you the idea that they'll never come into the light, that's just not for them. Staring at them in all the parts of darkness that they live in and thrive in, giving you the idea that they will never embrace the light. There is graffiti everywhere, and I'm guessing ancient drawings of everything Star Wars past. He goes out to see Gor Koresh, played by John Leguizamo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And it was really nice to see Gamorreans again, just like we saw them as Jabba's guards. And it's always so fascinating when Star Wars does the let's do the whole room scene, where we put every species there as nods to the comics. And Baby Yoda is basically just doing what any baby would do, which is trying to find out what the hell he's actually, or she is actually looking at. Gor Koresh asks Mando if he gambles. He says that he tries to avoid it when he can, and that's something that comes back at the end of this segment, which I really appreciated. And this is Mando saying what he verbally always signals to, which is, I don't want to kick your ass, but I will do it if you force my hand. I love it when things come back in the episode because that's just something that this series does, and it's so epic. Mando is looking for another Mandalorian to deliver the child, and he's always willing to pay for it. And Beskar has risen in value, and Gor Koresh speaks about that as well. So that's why Mandalorians keep being seen like animals who should be killed and basically stripped from their armor, which is such a cool element that they added to this story. So regarding what happened here when Gor Koresh shot the Gamorrean, I think that he shot the Gamorrean just to make it seem like Mando was the one that shot him, because asshole gambler will believe asshole gambler, instead of a stranger who just walked into their humble abode, showcasing that Gor Koresh has depth just like every other character we've seen in this show so far. I love that Baby Yoda calls his hovering carriage when he got the signal from that blue device thingy. Tell me in the comment section what that thing actually is, because right there and then he knew father was about to go to work. There was a Tope con Hero or Tope con Hilo, and that's a shout out to the wrestling fans, which as a wrestling fan myself, I popped for. I apologize for the noise. There was also a part where Mando used his armor to his advantage, when they were punching him, and it wasn't phasing the Beskar armor whatsoever. It was basically returning the punches. It was awesome. And it wasn't just a fight scene for the sake of being a fight scene. It really had depth to it, and there was this golden dagger that Mando was carrying. Tell me in the comment section what that actually is. And once again, Mando showcased that he is a man of his word by telling Gor Koresh that he will not die by his hand. At one point, Gor Koresh said that he swears this by the Gotra. And I was like, what's the Gotra? Is that some ancient god that they've been worshipping? Again, comment section. Mando always stays true to the deal, no matter who he's striking that deal with. We got the cities of Mos, and I was so delighted to see that because I always wanted to know what happened to the lost or abandoned cities after the fall of the Empire. What are the effects these events had over the cities and the planets all over the galaxies? And we see the creatures coming back, preying on Gor Koresh, with Mando basically turning the lights off, cause they only eat in the darkness. That's their thing. If you haven't heard the mixing and the transitioning of Mando's team, it's just no words. No words. We get that shot of the Tusken Raiders sitting on a banta, symbolizing a cowboy on his horse. So this is not Favreau humanizing the Tusken Raiders. This is just him reminding us that they are just like human beings. Because if they were savages, they wouldn't be able to sneak up on people without making any sound. Savages aren't smart enough to do that. Humans are. They are mute, not hard of hearing, just like many humans are, unfortunately, and have to use sign language half of the time to communicate. And they ride their own version of horses, just like we do. And when you think about that, like right there, your brain just explodes, just mind blown. We see a sense of friendship with Amy Sedaris' character, the mechanic, and also a sense of reliance when he's interacting with her, because every time he interacts with her, he changes the tone in his voice, and he relies on her to take care of the yodeling, especially how he knows how fond she is of it. And of course, I say it because it could be a him or a her. You can see his growth from hating droids all the way to not really loving them but respecting them and liking them enough because of the change in character he saw from Taika Waititi's IG-11. And you can hear it in this episode, right before Amy Sedaris' character says, "Oh, so he likes droids now." Baby Yoda remembers her just like she remembers it because they have like a mother-kid relationship, so much so that she would pay handsomely to have this baby. So much so that she will accept an offspring if that comes to exist. And yet again, she's willing to babysit. I just love her. I just love her. Realizing that there is a Mandalorian armor on the lost city of Mos Pelgos, he thinks that if he finds another one of his kind, he can establish a path through the network of coverts. Look, I know what he means, but is there a deeper meaning to that? Maybe there is. Go ahead, comment section. With Amy revealing a map, we see a droid. Some people say that it's R5D4 because of a particular crest logo thingy on its hardware. And Amy also tells him that the people of Mos Pelgos are gonna see his ship long before he lands, and hopefully that comes back with an ambush, maybe an air ambush this time. Spoken of things coming back, enter the speeder bike. I love that Mando immediately went to hang out with the Tusken Raiders and get a better insight on what actually happens on those grounds, and to find out what happens on the cities of Mos and the Mandalorian on Tatooine. So at one point, Mando says that the kid has seen worse. Is he becoming less in conflict with himself with things? Hardening himself up for something better that's gonna come his way? Or their way, I should say. You get a sense of how the locals are scared of the Mandalorians because of the stories they've heard over the years. I love the element of Mando spending so much time with the Tusken Raiders that he knows exactly how to speak to their dogs. And tell me in the comment section what the names of the Tusken dogs are. In the sit down between the Marshal, Mando, and I'm guessing the leader of the Tuskens, the camera pans to one of the Tusken dogs salivating at the thought of eating Baby Yoda. And I appreciate the attention to detail because that's totally what an animal would do. And in that same scene, the Marshal is blinded by the stories and personal interactions that Tuskens are savages, not to be negotiated with. And the people he protects feel the same way. That's one of the reasons why he doesn't want to eat the fruit. Its stinking didn't really help, but it was still delicious during that Grey Dragon fight. And regarding the Tuskens, you can still see that even though they know of the peoples and the Marshals disliking and killing of the Tusken Raiders, that they're still like, well, fair is fair. I mean, we killed a lot of you too. And I'm guessing the director, the producer, and the whole team were like, here's some deadwood for you. Which I haven't seen yet, but I heard that Timothy Olyphant stars as some sheriff. And it was so funny when Mando had to play Peacekeeper and basically reveal his flamethrower in a way that he will turn this car around so fast. And I already had so much respect for the Tusken Raiders. Seeing them walking in like a straight line made me respect them even more because they're actually walking in that straight line simply because they don't want you to know how many of them exist so that you can't wipe their kind out. It's absolute genius. No wonder why they survived for so long. They've been feeding this dragon for more than 1,000 years just to protect their settlement and are just highly unsuccessful in killing this great dragon and finally getting this great pearl, which is something that they do get at the end. And it felt like a bonus, you know? And what I heard is that you get the same thing when you fight the great dragon in one of the Star Wars video games. And you know, during the meeting they were like, yeah, we gotta give them a video game reference. I felt so bad for that one Tusken Raider being eaten by the great dragon, and all the bantas that have ever been eaten by this great dragon. The Marshal at one point was speaking about the townspeople and the Tusken Raiders killing each other, and the Tuskens killed about 500 people, and the Marshal killed about 2 times of that amount. Holy crap, that's crazy. I think I was watching a reaction or something, and I think they were talking about Anakin's mom, how she was, I think she was messing, or well, probably in the Tuskens' eyes, messing with their water supply, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why the Tuskens have been killing the townspeople. That scene where the Marshal was like, it's gonna be great, and right before that he was like, it was an accident, it was an accident. You can see how super sensitive both parties are with each other, that they immediately get agitated as soon as they need to have like any interaction. I have so much respect for the Marshal, caring about the townspeople, about the school, about their mining settlement, about everything in their city, so much so that he is willing to give up this armor just to take out this great dragon, which is also one of the reasons why I want to see him again, maybe in a future episode. And also because of that rocket he was carrying with Boba Fett's armor. Oh, it was so cool. That scene was just awesome, taking out the mining collective. The townspeople realizing that the Marshal's gonna have to get the armor back, that scared the hoo-ha out of them. It was so funny. And the peace treaty was simple yet elegant, with the Tusken Raiders wanting the meat and the ichor of the dragon, and they vowed to never raise a blaster or whatever weapon against the townspeople as long as they don't break the peace. The townspeople were definitely comedic relief, and you could also see that when they realized that they had no other choice but to work with the Tuskens. During the attach the bombs to the Banta scene, I immediately asked myself, how does he signal the Tuskens? Like, do they have like a special thing that I maybe missed? You really had an Indians and Cowboys feel between the townspeople and the Tusken Raiders, and as much as they had their differences, they were quite similar, but they were too naive and ignorant to realize that. And we did have some honorable mentions where we got to see the Tuskens and the townspeople's weaponry. We got to see Mando curse by saying Dank Farrik, and the dragon having that classic animal trait of, for example, maybe a shell that protects it. We did get some biblical stuff with Mando going into the belly of the beast just like Jonah went into the whale. That was the first thing that came into mind when I saw that part. And we got to see differences in experience with the Marshal and the Mando regarding wearing the armor and using the Mandalorian weaponry. And you can see that the Marshal has earned Mando respect to the point where he was willing to risk his life and leave Baby Yoda in his care. The Banta absolutely not being down to be eaten by this monster. That just had me dying. I hope you guys have noticed this. There's a scene where the Marshal says, yo, and I was like, wait, are they trying to tell me something here? Is this something that I should know? Should I know who she is? Is she related to Lando? Like, what's going on here? Can somebody answer that question? It was so beautiful seeing the binary suns again. And then we got to see Boba Fett at the end, or at least some people think it's Boba Fett. He was also really scarred, so some people think it's Rex. So one of the parts that's really funny is when the Marshal gives back the armor to the Mandalorian and tells him to tell his people that he didn't break that because the sheriff doesn't want that heat. Freaks and geeks, thank you for watching this. Be on the lookout for my review or breakdown or whatever you want to call it of Mando Season 2 Chapter 10. It's coming out soon. I'm a little bit late with this because I'm busy with a lot of other things, but I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this regardless. As usual, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell if you haven't done so yet, and smash the like button. You have no idea how helpful that is. It makes so many other people see my channel and gives them the opportunity to do the classic YouTube stuff as well. And with that said, I'll see you in another video.